um, InSight Vacations, like I said. He will be going over what they have to offer, and like I said, everybody will be muted. And go ahead and start, Carson.
Thanks so much, Maggie. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Carson. I'll be presenting everything that we've got to offer at this time with InSight Vacations. While we've been waiting for the presentation to start, this slideshow that's been showing is just highlighting a lot of the product that we have here domestically in the United States as well as Canada. Although we have been known for Europe for decades, we are now a global entity, and obviously the United States and Canada is a beautiful place. We do have a lot of product there. Um, However, this presentation I'll just be discussing who we are and where we travel to, mostly worldwide. I won't be touching too much into the United States and Canada, but of course at the end, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. So again, this presentation is just going to be about InSight Vacations and Luxury Gold. At the end, I'll give you a quick little tour of the agent portal that we have online at insightvacations.com. It's super easy to search for and get information on a lot of our itineraries as well as book. So again, I think that will be the layout, and it shouldn't be more than 45 minutes. So again, just to get started, we're really happy to be a part of Travel Leaders and VCOM. Absolutely love working with Pro Travel. The first half of this presentation will be on our premium product on the left side there, InSight Vacations, and the second half of this presentation will be discussing Luxury Gold Worldwide, which is more of the luxury product that we offer. This is me. I live down in, or up in Berkeley, California. I am a California resident. I've born and raised here, so pretty close to the Fresno office. There's really a million reasons to travel, and of course, as you all know, it's really our jobs to figure out which of those few reasons are the real purpose behind your client's travel, and to seek out exactly what they're looking for. And with InSight Vacations, I'm pretty sure that we can find what they are seeking. Don't know how many of you have heard of InSight Vacations. On my last visit, not too many had. The reason being is because we don't do any direct marketing. We don't do anything on TV or the radio or newspapers. Everything we do is on social media. Hashtag Insight Moments. We find that this is extremely effective because these are real people in real time enjoying themselves out in Europe, and they're certainly not being paid to look like they're having a great time. That being said, 98% of our business is done through you, the travel professional. We don't do hardly any direct booking. We really want the business to stay with you, and we really do appreciate that partnership. Furthermore, we don't partner with Costco. We're not online in terms of Expedia and Travelocity and things like that. So again, we really do appreciate our partnership with the travel professional. You probably recognize a few of these brands. We are part of the Travel Corporation. Forbes magazine a couple of months ago put out an article titled "The Travel Corporation, the largest travel company on the planet that you've never heard of," is privately owned by the Tolman family. And of course, as you can see, many brands up on the top there. You'll recognize Trafalgar, Contiki, us, Uniworld. That being said, we are the largest travel company on the planet, but when you work with InSight Vacations, we certainly have that small-time feel, and we really are a family. For those of you that are not familiar with the land travel segment, we've got three categories of land providers. You have your mass market contemporary providers. They do a lot of volume. You'll probably recognize Globus, Colette, Trafalgar. They would all fall in that market space, and they all do a great job with what they do. But if your clients want a little bit extra, we have the premium sector of the market, which is where we rest. We're the only ones there in the middle territory. And then finally, you have your top area of the market space, the luxury sector, and you'll find A&K, Alexander Roberts, Abercrombie Kent, Tauk, and us with our luxury gold. This slide that you're seeing in front of you right now is based on each tour operator's best of Italy. We basically did a big comparison, and on average, this is the per day cost of any of our products. So as you can see, for just $30 more a day, you can move your clients from that mass market sector to really get the insight difference, which I'm about to dive into now. And then over there on the luxury side, you'll notice that we are on the low end of the luxury price per day, and we still provide an exceptional product. So we are very proud of our price point. There won't be too many numbers in this presentation because even though we have an excellent price point, we're not a company based on price. We're a company based on value and the experiences that our guests have. And it's really important for you to tell your clients that it's not about budget and things like that. It's really making sure that their experience is commensurate with the price they pay, and that's where value comes into play. I would imagine that a lot of you do a lot of cruising. We find that our itineraries are extremely complementary with cruise, both with river and ocean, especially over here in California when people are flying all the way over the US and over the Atlantic to get to Europe. We find that they're willing to spend a little bit more time and a little bit more money while they're out that way. So why not put them on the water and on land, places where rivers and oceans don't touch. For those of you that book a lot of Oceania, Celebrity, Princess, or Holland America, they would really appreciate the InSight Premium brochure. Definitely hand that to them. Otherwise, for those of you that do a lot of Uniworld, Tauk, Azamara, and Regent cruising, Luxury Gold would certainly be compatible with those clients as well. So the first half, as I mentioned, will be on InSight Premium. This year's theme is magic. Magic isn't imaginary. It's just very well planned. This is basically going to be presenting how InSight Vacations does what magicians do on stage. You won't... Oh, just one moment. I'm sorry. All right, sorry about that. Magic is an imagination very well planned. We've all been to a magic show and we've seen magicians pull rabbits out of hats and things like that. And certainly I don't necessarily believe in magic all the time. What we don't see is all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes, the stuff that's going on behind the curtain, and the years and years of practice to make that seamless experience. Travel is very synonymous to that. In the sense that, as you all know, there's hundreds of little things that are involved in making a perfect experience for your clients, and we are very professional at making that happen so they don't have to deal with any of the logistics and they could just enjoy their trip. With over 100 different itineraries in Europe alone, there really is something for everyone, and of course, as I mentioned, we have many more globally and worldwide. Signature experiences is a big emphasis for us because we really want to make sure that our guests experience the culture through the locals. It's the locals that bring out the magic, not necessarily the buildings and the rivers and the mountains. Yes, they're all very beautiful. We do have those things here in California. What makes a trip to another culture different? It's the culture, it's the people, it's the language. So we really try to emphasize that your clients will get hands-on experiences with them. The gentleman on the right, Shepherd Neil Ross, he's a world-famous collie dog sheep herder. He's obviously the highlight of the experience, as you can imagine, but for any of those that have seen Babe, that funny movie about the pig chasing sheep around and stuff like that, he was heavily involved in making that film, being that he's a professional sheep herder. So again, when you take those little things like that and you bring out the locals, it makes it a magical experience. That's a small niche of some people's interests. Moving on to the left side, you'll notice the Vatican. When we visit the Vatican with InSight Premium, we make sure that our guests get a VIP tour of the Bramante staircase. Not too many people have heard of it, and it actually connects the Vatican Museum to the Vatican residence. We'll get a VIP tour of that. It'll be just our group, and it actually does cut the tour time almost in half, so it makes it a more effective and efficient viewing of the Vatican in all of its grandeur. Also with InSight Premium, many of our itineraries that spend the night in Rome, your clients will be dining inside the Vatican Museum. That is something that you cannot find anywhere else and they would not be able to do on their own. It will be hosted by the museum curator himself, and it will be catered by the Vatican kitchens. Again, we're all about doing things that you simply cannot do on your own or with other operators. Authenticity. I can imagine that many of us have traveled before, and we all know the difference between those shops and those dining places that are really geared more toward tourists rather than the locals. We make sure that we go to those local places where you won't find hamburgers and pizza, you'll find the authentic stuff. Top-rated highlights, these are the things that we include that others might charge extra. They're the bucket list items that you just have to do when you're visiting these destinations. When you're in Venice, you just have to do a gondola ride. Why would we charge you extra? We have that included, and we also make sure that they get the serenade. So you have the gentleman on the back singing Italian opera in your ear. When you're traveling through the Swiss Alps, we make sure that our guests go on the Glacial Express, which is one of those iconic landmarks. So we include the top-rated highlights, so we make sure that our guests do the things they're supposed to do in these destinations. The tour directors. Our tour directors are some of the best in the world. We do pay them a lot more than the other guys, so that obviously allows us to select the best of the best. And this is something for all of you out there that, again, aren't familiar with land suppliers. Tour directors are usually not employed by the company. They're independently contracted on annual contracts. That being said, with InSight Vacations, our retention rate with our tour directors is about 92%, which means two things. One, they love working with us, but two, most importantly, they know the InSight product and they really know how to deliver it to your clients so they can have a seamless experience. If any of you have been on a land tour before, or even on an ocean cruise or anything like that, you'll really understand that the tour director is really the heart and the soul of the group. And if they're not spot on all the time, things can go sideways with the thousands of things that are going on. Again, really just trying to emphasize and get away from the idea that we are a bus tour. A lot of people have it in their imagination that their clients will be like cattle being herded around. It's certainly not like that with InSight Vacations. And an excellent example of that would be through our dining experiences. Some nights we'll dine as a group. We always make sure that we dine in local restaurants in town where the locals eat. We hardly ever dine in the hotel. Sometimes the hotel restaurant will be phenomenal and it's a standalone historical thing, but otherwise, again, we try not to dine in the hotels. Some nights we dine as a group. Other nights we have our dine-around option, basically a la carte style dining where we give our guests 3 or 4 different restaurants in town to choose from. They get to pick one, go in at their leisure with whom they want, sit down, eat, order, and walk away because it's already been paid for and the gratuities have been taken care of. And then in 2018, we've actually taken it a step further, and in the latter half of 2017, we have something called freestyle dining, where we give our guests perhaps 50 or 60 euro or whatever the current denomination is of currency, and we say the night's on us. Of course, we recommend a few different restaurants for them to go to, but through our research, we find that that money is actually going more toward shoes than with food. Again, it's their money, they get to do what they want with it, and of course with all the meals that we include, they're hardly ever hungry, but again, really just try and emphasize that this is their vacation, their way. Highlight evenings are generally a dinner and a performance combined in one night. This is a dinner and an operetta at the Palais Augsburg in Vienna. As you can see, a very intimate experience with the InSight guests and the performers themselves. It's important to point out that with InSight Vacations, we're really trying to take our guest out of an audience point of view and more into a participant point of view, and we can do that through the fact that we make sure that they get to meet the performers either before or after the event. Signature hotels. Every itinerary is going to have at least 1 or 2 in it. A signature hotel is generally going to be, hey Maggie, it seems that somebody isn't on mute. I'm so sorry. Anyway, moving on. Signature hotels are an experience on top of an accommodation. That means that basically, with this example with Ashford Castle, our guests not only stay here for one night inside the castle, but when they show up, they get dropped off on the other side of the lake. They get ferried across in little boats. There will be a gentleman playing a bagpipe on the shore who will escort them to the front door, and the staff of the castle will line the foyer and greet them as if they're royalty themselves. So again, it's really a bucket list memory that they can carry on for years and years. A big hallmark with InSight Vacations are our centrally located hotels. That is a huge thing for us. This is Venice. The whole thing is Venice. As you can see, you have Venice Island. That is where the gondolas are. That is where the postcards, the pictures are taken. On the left side, you have the Mestre, the mainland. As you can see from the satellite image, it is quite industrial. And over on the right side, you can't see it too much out of the frame, but that is the Lido Islands protecting the Venetian Lagoon. Again, the whole thing is called Venice. We make sure that our hotels are on Venice Island, in the heart of the action. That's important to point out because in the summertime, you can Google search this little statistic. In the summertime, in the high season of travel, 40,000 tourists will go onto the island every day. I like to mention this because at the end of the day, those 40,000 tourists go back to the mainland, they go back to the hotels on the Lido Islands, they go back to those cruise ships where they will probably have an Italian dinner, most likely not cooked by Italians, whereas our guests are still on the island, and we will have a truly authentic Italian dinner, and that's when the locals come out from hiding, and it really becomes a fantastic experience. Also, at the end of a freestyle night or a dine-around option, if the night hasn't ended for your clients and they want to go out on an adventure with themselves, grabbing cocktails or whatever, they know that it's just a short stroll back to the hotel because, again, we always make sure that we're staying in the heart of the action. So it is their vacation their way. Our coaches are very unique. Nobody else in the world does it like we do it. We take a standard 56-seat motor coach, rip out 16 seats, and spread everyone way out. So you have Wi-Fi on board, very large, clean restrooms that nobody hardly uses because we're never on the coach long enough to need them. We really design our itineraries to stop quite often and enjoy all different kinds of experiences. The image on the right would be an example of what you would expect to find on the coach, business class seating, much like in an airplane. And although a majority of what we do is on our luxury motor coaches, we also do travel on yachts, like the MS Futura mega yacht. It's off the Dalmatian coast. Our guests will basically charter this cruise vessel. We also do train and rail, such as the TGV in France. We have the Eurostar that goes from London through the Channel, the Via Rail, and the Rocky Mountaineer up in Canada. And these are all indicated on the itineraries. Relaxed starts are basically mornings that start at 9 a.m. or later. We listen to our guests. Many of them did not much appreciate waking up at 6, bags out at 7, and leaving the hotel at 8. So again, we've introduced these in all of our itineraries that basically allow them to have a bit more of a relaxing morning. 5 different styles of travel in our premium. Discovery and regional experiences are generally faster paced, doing and seeing more in a less amount of time. Country roads and easy pace are just that, easy pace, generally 3 or 2 nights in every destination, and very immersive in a particular region. So your discovery option would be something like London to Rome, which is, as you can imagine, a bit of a long trip, whereas the easy pace or country roads basically spend their entire time in that small section of that country, like just the southern tip of Italy. The InSight Inclusive at the bottom, it's basically a hybrid between our InSight Premium and our Luxury Gold product. It is a no optionals offered kind of experience where basically the guest doesn't have to pay for anything while on tour. And although we do include a lot more than the other providers, we do still offer optionals. And what an optional is when the guest arrives, the tour director will have taken into account traffic and weather and sunsets and sunrises to make a really fun list of events that they can pay extra for to enjoy themselves. We're really trying to get away from that, though. We're trying to do an all-inclusive experience, but we're finding that Americans really appreciate their flexibility, particularly if they've had too much Prosecco on a Tuesday night. They want to sleep in Wednesday morning and not do the Wednesday morning optional experience. They don't have to. Because they haven't paid for it yet. So, just something to point out. I'm just going to flip through these itineraries really quick. These are just a few of the highlight ones. Most of our UK itineraries do go through Edinburgh, up in Scotland. There they can find the military tattoo in August, which is a very, very fascinating event. We do have the best seats in the house for that. We also have a lot of itineraries up in Northern Europe, country roads of southern Scandinavia being one. And you can actually combine both of our itineraries up there to become Scandinavian heritage if your clients want to spend about 26 days up there. Eastern Discovery, this one is a beautiful itinerary following the coast there. It used to end in Istanbul, now it ends in Athens, again speaking to the fact that many of our itineraries are designed to work very well with ocean cruising. Sadly, all the cruise lines pulled out of Istanbul, so we adjusted this itinerary. But speaking to Istanbul and actually the world in general, we still are offering tours in Turkey and Egypt and Russia and elsewhere. We would not be there if we felt it wasn't safe. And again, being part of the travel corporation, we have so many eyes and ears on the ground. We know what's going on out there before the media and the news does. So rest assured, your guest will be very safe with us. Scenic France in northern Spain, a very romantic itinerary. 2 nights in San Sebastian, sort of a forgotten Eden in the northern coast of Spain. And that's basically it. InSight Vacations Premium, the best locations, centrally located hotels. The signature experiences really try and emphasize the local immersion and the authentic dining their way. Moving on to the second half of what we do, Luxury Gold. We're very excited about this. If any of you are familiar with Uniworld Luxury River Cruising, this is the land version of that. Again, the Tolman family has been known for hospitality for over 100 years, and they're on their 4th generation now. And this is really an iteration that they've been waiting to put together for many, many years. Those amazing tour directors that I told you about in Premium, we take the best of those and we train them for 6 months with both Red Carnation Luxury Hotels and Uniworld River Cruising to become a traveling concierge. These guys and gals are extremely polished. They usually know 4 or 5 languages, and they're exceptionally good at getting those opera tickets or those dinner reservations that'll be outside of the itinerary for your clients that really want to make it more independent style travel. With Luxury Gold, you get private tours of the Doge Palace in the evening when the gold flickers just right, a private tour of the Sistine Chapel in the morning where your clients will be able to chat and take pictures. If any of you have been to the Sistine Chapel, those 2 things are extremely forbidden during the public hours. Also, even though our tour directors are fantastic people, we cannot expect them to remember everything about everything. So what we do is we utilize local guides. We call them local experts. They will work hand in hand with the tour director to bring your guests to those really nice places in those little towns. We call them local experts because they really are artisans, sommeliers, PhD students, museum curators. They're passionate about their craft, and they get to share that passion with our guests. Whereas a local guide could simply be somebody that wrote a book once on glass blowing and chat about it a little bit with clients on another tour provider. Michelin star dining on every single European itinerary, something that again is unheard of in the tour industry. We really make it a point, especially here in California, for those clients that love their food and wine, to experience one of these fantastic restaurants. And they not only get to dine at one of these places, but they also get to meet the chef that make it a Michelin star restaurant. So a truly immersive experience. On the other side of things, though, we make sure that the guests with both Premium and Luxury Gold visit those hole-in-the-wall places, the places that only locals know about, that you cannot find on Yelp or TripAdvisor, to get that truly authentic flair. The hotels with Luxury Gold are simply elevated. With Premium, the hotels are generally 4 or 5-star properties. With Luxury Gold, they're generally 5, 6-star properties, and usually very boutique. This is the Milestone Hotel, #1 hotel in the UK last year. We own it, and again, many of the hotels that we do spend time in are hotels that we own, so we can pass that savings on to our guests. This is a 63-room boutique hotel. Every room is a different color with handmade furniture and Savoy beds. Fantastic experience for your clients looking for that extreme luxury. On the other side of things as well, we don't only stay in those world-class, first-rate, modern hotels. We also stay in the historical places, such as the El Convento in Portugal. This is a 14th century monastery that was actually redone into a world-class spa and resort. Also, private transfers with Luxury Gold. Your clients will get picked up at the airport the second they land, and they will be taken privately via a black Mercedes sedan or something similar to their hotel, whether they show up 3 days early or if they leave 5 days after the tour, they get the same treatment on the way back. So again, private transfers to and from the airports at any time. Just going to briefly again show you the world collection with Luxury Gold. We've got Italy, our #1 seller. Once you do this, you don't really have to go back. As you can see, you spend 2 nights in Capri. If any of you have been there, you know that you cannot spend just 1, which is what the other guys do. Spain and Portugal in style, visiting all of Andalusia. 3 nights in Portugal, finishing in Madrid, and of course you get to see the Alhambra. If any of you have been having difficulty trying to book your clients for the Alhambra on their own, that's simply because the Alhambra is really pulling back how many tickets they offer, because it is starting to turn into a real UNESCO heritage site where they have to really protect it. So they're not letting too many people in now, but we do have many contracts secured with them. Majestic Switzerland, in and out of Zurich, a little bit of cruising on Lake Lucerne and Geneva, and of course with any inter-travel on either premium or luxury gold, that is included in the price. The French Connection, this is a very unique itinerary where your clients will get some cruising down through the Channel Islands. They'll spend 2 nights in Guernsey at the Red Carnation property, the old governor's house. It was actually the headquarters for the Nazis in World War II, and it actually basically controlled the entire northern Atlantic. And your guests will have a really historical tour of that hotel that they're staying in. Otherwise, you're staying in beautiful chateaus in the Loire Valley and places like that. Southeast Asia, my favorite place in the whole world. We are visiting Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam. Your clients can pick and choose if they want to do 1, 2, or all 3 in any order they want. A very modulated itinerary. Also, Australia and New Zealand. Of the 2 itineraries we have in Australia, this is the introductory version. It basically does Sydney, the Blue Mountains, Hunter Valley, all the stuff that you're supposed to do your first time in Australia. And while in Sydney Harbour, your clients will get to see the best views of Sydney from the America Cup yacht that won 5 years ago. We've contracted their crew to take them on a very nice cruise through the harbour with just wind. The Long White Cloud, New Zealand, very popular destination these days. They can choose either the North or the South Island, or they can simply do both if they'd like to spend 22 days out there. And then South America, we've recently branched out to Brazil, Argentina, and Peru. Peru is a very beautiful place, and for those adventurous clients that you have, this would be a fantastic opportunity for them to really have that adventure as well as luxury. Many people don't know, but Lima and Cusco are the gastro capitals of South America. A lot of amazing chefs do come and go out of these places. So the dining experience will be fantastic, but of course the gem in this itinerary is Machu Picchu. We make sure that we go in the morning when it's nice and cool and there's fewer people, and we also visit Lake Titicaca in the south, where our guests will have a meal and visit the UNESCO heritage site where the indigenous people still live on their handmade floating islands made out of hay. So a really exotic destination, and I think hopefully your clients will enjoy it. So there's luxury gold, again, the VIP events, private access, the boutique hotels that are just simply elevated, and finally the dining that is going to be Michelin and Epicurean style cuisine. So if any of your clients have been on Uniworld or Kontiki 20 years ago or Trafalgar last week, they get 5% off with us. It's sort of a loyalty bonus for basically keeping it in the family. We also have a lot of monthly flight promotions. I'll get into those a little bit later. And if any of you are so inclined to book one of your clients on a trip with us in the next 7 days, feel free to tell them that I'll be happy to take off $150 per person on top of all the promotions I'm about to tell you, just to incentivize them to try us out. These are the 2 new brochures that recently came out. We've got 2018 Europe preview. Our product doesn't come out until the end of August, at which point, Maggie, I'd love to schedule another one of these with you so that I can update everyone on all the new stuff that's coming out in 2018. But otherwise, we do have a few select itineraries that you can pre-register for at 2017 prices on the left there. On the right, we have our USA and Canada product, which is officially out. Because our headquarters is right across the street from the headquarters of the USA and Canada, we can get that product out a lot sooner. So you can start booking your clients immediately on 2018 tours for both the United States and for Canada. This is also another brochure that I would recommend you check out. Off-season splendors can be found in the seasons brochure. These are going to be great discounts on regular tours that can be found along the Mediterranean. They're still warm and very temperate in the winter months, and you'll have fewer crowds, so you can really connect with the locals. Otherwise, we offer the Northern Lights in Iceland. We also obviously have the Christmas markets, a real Christmas with real snow and real Santa Clauses. It really is a beautiful time, and all these cities really do come to life. And of course, we have exclusive air and land offers. We have excellent contracts with all the major airlines. So before you book some airfare for your clients outside, please check to see what kind of offer we can provide them, because usually we can beat anything else that you can find elsewhere on top of the promotions. This is currently our Seasons of Europe air offer, $200 per credit business or $150 per couple economy, plus a 7.5% early payment discount. Not to confuse everyone, but basically for any 2018 travel, if your clients book and pay in full by the middle of January, they can save 10%. If they don't make that deadline, it tiers down to 7.5 until April, when it tiers down to 5%, and then it eventually disappears. But with InSight Vacations, the earlier you book, the better price your clients will get. But anyway, I digress. Coming back to this, if they do this and if they book by the 31st of August, they can do a lot of savings with our Seasons brochure. Also, for any active or past military, we're offering $100 off per person for themselves and a companion. That is the strongest incentive in the industry at this moment, so we're really happy to support them after they've supported us for so long. 98% guest satisfaction rate with InSight Vacations. And to be very candid with you, this isn't because 98% of the time everything goes perfectly well. As you all know, things can go sideways. The reason why we have this guest satisfaction rate is because we use those opportunities as a golden opportunity to show how we're different and to fix it and to make your clients happy so they return again and again to book with us and book through you, so you have that recurring clientele. So again, we're very happy with how happy our guests are with us. So that's the end of my presentation. I really do appreciate you all being here. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I'm going to go ahead and talk to you a little bit about how it is to book online. So InsightVacations.com. We've recently reinvented this website so the user experience is a lot better than the other guys. It is not as antiquated. As you can see, it is very beautiful. And please recommend that your guests check this out if they're not interested in reading paper brochures. But for you as agents, I just want to give you a quick tour. Again, because all of our business is done through you. Agents, top in the middle, click on that. And what you can do is register over here on the right side. Registration is very simple. Your first, your last name, your IATA code, which if you don't have on hand, I'm sure Maggie can provide, and then finally your email address. Once you're registered, you'll be able to log in. So I'm just going to go ahead and log in right here. All right. And once you're in, you have a lot of different options. What I really want to point out first, though, is Agent Tools. You'll probably be spending most of your time in Agent Tools and Vacation Finder. If you were to do the e-learning, it would be very similar to what I just showed you a few moments ago. But anyway, over in Agent Tools, this is probably going to be your favorite link. In here, you'll find special offers, marketing materials, and the specialist program, which is basically that basically the presentation I just gave you. In special offers, if you click on that, it is an updated page that show you everything that is going on right now for your clients. So we have a summer sale, we have our Europe preview, air deals, solo traveler savings. We're noticing that a lot more travelers are traveling solo these days. Special interest tours that can't be found in the brochures, such as a Downton Abbey itinerary for any of you that watch that show. We're trying to put together a Game of Thrones itinerary, a Lord of the Rings itinerary. We have Picture Perfect Italy for the photographers out there. And then, of course, we have electronic brochures here. So this is the Seasons brochure. This is the luxury brochure that is current. And we have our 2018 product for USA and Canada. So this is an excellent page for you to check out. Otherwise, if you want to make a booking or check out to see what you can find, we go to Vacation Finder. In Vacation Finder, you can search for a particular tour based on destination, duration, departure month, etc. Which brochure might you find it in, and you can type it in with keywords or tour names. I'm just going to pick the first one that I looked up a little bit earlier, A White Christmas in Europe, 15 days. If your clients are interested in that, you can learn more You can view tour details. It'll tell you a day-by-day itinerary and all the specifics. But otherwise, if you get a quote, you would type in your name, your travel agency, et cetera, et cetera. You would check one of these boxes and submit, and it would send you a quote that you would therefore be able to send your client directly from us. And again, we will not steal your clients. We don't do any of that. We're just trying to make it easier for you to show them what you have to offer. But otherwise, if you want to make a booking, click on Learn More. And it looks like this is the only date that's available at this time. And what you would do is you would hit Book Now. If you want to check out accommodations, optional experiences, highlights, itinerary, you can. But otherwise, click on Book Now. And it is extremely easy. I'll spend the next 15 seconds showing you how. Show me the cost for one adult. I want two adults. It will show me the cost for two adults, and I will hit, this is the price, show cost breakdown if you're interested. I will hit continue. Would you like to extend your stay, add a night or two, either at the beginning or the end? How would you like to book your flights? Are you wanting to book more than InSight if you want to book more than one InSight trip, click yes. Otherwise, I'm going to continue. You type in your passenger names, the lead passenger contact details, their address, special requirements, prepaid gratuities if they want to, travel protection, and then basically it would go from there and you would be able to book them immediately. Otherwise, feel free to give us a call anytime and we'll be happy to help you over the phone. So I think that's it, Maggie. I hope that wasn't too long.
No, you're fine. Well, thank you so much. That was a lot of information. If you want me to go ahead and mute everyone and have them start doing their Q&A?
Yes, please. If anyone has any questions, feel free to speak out, and I'll be
Okay,
happy to answer.
great. So everybody is unmuted now. Any takers?
Oh, I can't be that
Hi,
good.
Carson.
There's gotta be some questions.
Hi, Carson.
Hi there.
My name is Dawn, and I do have a client that's interested in going to Iceland, the Northern Lights. When would the best month be? And there are papers that I can get to give them so that they can look it over to see, your itineraries.
Absolutely, yes. So again, we do have those brochures, but if you want to send them an email with a link that is an electronic version with a web page that is just for them, you can even put your name and your agency on there. I can show that to you really quick, but otherwise, to answer your first question, the best time to go to Iceland for the Northern Lights is November. Although we do go to Iceland from November to March, really early March, the best odds for them to see the Northern Lights is November.
Okay, thank you.
Of course, of course. And again, if you just follow the instructions that I showed you, you go to insightvacations.com, type in Iceland, it will show you a link. You can just send them that link, or if you register as an agent, you can send them a personalized link with your information, your phone number, and ProTravel. Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you for asking, Don.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
My name is Alicia, and I have a client, a couple that wanted to go to Turkey. Will October, what will be the month? And if they want to travel like in about a month or two, is that a good time to go to Turkey? And this is a couple that are in their, like, we'll say 70s, early 70s.
I would say that obviously for an older couple like that, traveling with us would probably be one of the best ways, where everything is taken care of and they can really enjoy their experience. And as I mentioned before, we are still in Turkey. I think October would be a fine time to go because obviously it's the shoulder season, things are cooling down, there will be fewer tourists. The only thing that I have to say is that there may not be availability that early. A lot of our clients, because of the early payment discount, book about a year in advance. It would not hurt for you to check out if there's availability for something in this October for 2017. If you wouldn't mind sending me an email at Carson, bless you, at Carson.Hobart. Carson.Hobart at InsightVacations.com, right there on the screen. I'll be happy to send you details and things like that. Also, Don, for you, I'll check out the Iceland. If you wouldn't mind sending me an email at my email address, I'll send you a link that you can show your clients. But anyway, yes, Turkey is a beautiful place. Personally, I want to go to Istanbul for New Year's myself. I enjoy that kind of culture. But again, it might be possible that we are fully booked in the next couple of months. But you can always check. You can always check.
Okay, I will send you an email because I also need I get the air and everything if they want to do that.
Yes, please do. Please do. Yes. Also, this is another question that I get from many agents. How can you travel with us? Being that you are responsible for all of our business, we really do try to reward you and incentivize you to try our product firsthand. For all of you agents out there, if you have your IATA number, we will provide you with up to 50% off on a tour in Europe, as well as 30% off for a companion if they themselves are not a travel agent. That can be stacked on top of vouchers, coupons that we send you with every booking that you've done with us in the past. So if you booked an InSight couple 5 years ago, each person that you send with us is 2%. You have 4% off on top of your 50% off. So again, just to break that down, you as a travel agent get up to 50% off. Your companion who isn't a travel agent can get up to 30% off. And any bookings that you've made in the past, if you've saved those vouchers, each of those is worth quite a bit of percentage off as well. So we really want you to try our product so you'll be able to tell your clients what it smells like, tastes like, and feels like to be on an InSight tour.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
There will be, watch. They will email you.
Yeah. Please, again, everyone email me. Also, I'm if I don't say so myself, I'm one of the more unique reps out there. I do answer my phone, and I do return emails within 24 hours. So again, reach out to me for any questions, no matter how big or how small, and I will be happy to work with you.
Awesome. That's great to hear. Well, thank you so much for taking the time and doing this for us. It was recorded, so I will just cut out that end part of it, and we should be good. And then just let me know, Carson, when you want to come back on and do another webinar, and hopefully we can get you on one of our events in the future. I know we're going to Bahamas, Cuba in October, so those of you, you know who you are, who are going, and if you haven't booked, you should book. We still have space available. Because I know, Carson, you said you wouldn't be able to go, right?
I am so interested, and I would absolutely love to go with you, but I'm afraid that's a bit of a busy season for us reps, as we've got a ton of shows that we're attending all over the West Coast.
Okay.
But if I were able to skip those, I'd love to party with you all in Cuba. Sounds like a blast.
Right. Okay. Well, on the next one, we'll definitely get you out there. It'll be nice to have you. And if no one has any more questions, then we'll let you guys enjoy the rest of your night and your weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Thank
Have a great
you.
evening.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.